what she said. She's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.
Welcome back. Do you ever beat yourself up for not meeting your own high standards? Well, joining us now is Stephanie Jackson, coactive coach at Beacon Coaching and Leadership, who's here to help us crush that negative inner critic. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
So what is an inner critic?
The inner critic is that bitchy voice that we hear that tells us we're not enough. Mm-hmm. So basically not good enough, not smart enough, interesting enough. Why would you do that? Nobody's going to listen to you. Who do you think you are? It's that voice. It's on a repeated track that we have just ingrained into, our personal fabric that holds us back from doing the things that we truly want to do. We each have ideas, desires. January is a great time, right? We write down our goals and our resolutions and what are the things, the dreams that we want to bring out into the world. We all have longings and yearnings. The inner critic shows up to tell us, oh, don't do that. That might not go well. So there's a protection around it, and then there's also a motivation around it as well. But essentially, it holds us back and keeps us in a rut and keeps us feeling restless and just stuck, basically stuck.
Do you think everyone has that, and where does it come from?
Honestly, I do. I haven't talked to everybody in the world, but from from my own experience and from working with many clients, yes, we all do.
Well, there are a couple of megalomaniacs that may not have it.
Narcissists, you mean? Yeah. Some psychotic people, but they actually do. There is
really,
yeah, and it's an insecurity. So an insecurity will show up and manifest as this arrogant attitude, or will show up as somebody shrinking back and isolating. So there's two different ways. What we really want to do is get to this place where we stand our sacred ground and know who we are, know our own identity, and are comfortable with that.
But where does it come from? Because you're raising children, so you want to know that, so you don't...
Fear. I think it comes from fear, doesn't it? Fear of failure, fear of all kinds of stuff,
so
I suppose.
that's at the base of it. So what it sounds like is just what I said. Do you have an inner critic, ladies, that show up? I
think I'm a big one of Cinderella syndrome. When are they going to find out that I shouldn't be doing this?
You're fake.
Yeah.
You're gonna the wool is just going to be pulled out, and imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Christine, anything?
Yeah. I look like I have self-confidence, but I really don't inside.
So it's low self-esteem, low self-worth, and you're right. Where did this come from? So it typically starts when you're younger, and it comes from somebody who you've trusted, a parent or a teacher or grandparent maybe. And what they've done is they've said something to you, and it's not intended to be negative. It's intended actually to protect you from something or to motivate you towards something, right? So, but how we receive it is negative. And for example, I have a friend who, food was just a beautiful comfort and just a love language in their home. And so anytime that, you're feeling uncomfortable or you didn't have a good day, it's like, oh, let's eat. And her mom noticed that she was starting to get a little bit chubby. And I was like, honey, you might not want to eat so many cookies because you're getting to the dating age. And what boy's going to ask you out? Right? So that's a motherly motivation of, honey, don't eat so much because you don't want to be overweight. But you hear it as, oh my goodness, I'm fat. Nobody's going to like me.
But okay, I'm a mother of two daughters. Christine's a mother of two sons. But when it comes to daughters, I couldn't put a step right. I could walk across the room wrong. Mothers take a lot of blame when they are trying to phrase. So how do you phrase something like that?
Because there's guilt attached to that, right? And then there's shame. So you want to say something that is healthy, that's going to help them understand that who they are is really about their worth. That they are loved, that they are important, that they are creative, that they are solution-oriented. So for something like that, you want to be able to just talk about, transparently, what health is and what the food does for you and what it's going to do to you. But just stepping back too, I have another friend, and she's beautiful. She's a 50-year-old woman, and she says anytime that she goes into a room where there's a party and there's a little group of people that seemingly know each other, she is instantly triggered by this bullying incident that happened when she was 7 years old on the playground. So it's a trigger, right? And unless you can actually interrupt that trigger with something new, you are going to be brought right back to that 7-year-old you, and you're going to feel all those emotions again, like, oh no, they don't like me, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't even be here, and you will do things to avoid that.
Yeah, it was funny. It's funny that you're talking about with my children. I used to say to them if they did something wrong, I love you to pieces. I would lay down in front of a Mack truck for you. You are wonderful.
Yeah.
However, I do not like what you just did. I don't like this behavior, and please, you need to change it. So I would separate the action from the person, and I thought in my head that maybe that might help because I was riddled with guilt about,
Oh no, what have I done to my kid?
So how do we get unstuck from this craziness? How do you confront your inner critic and say, go away?
Exactly. Yes. So there is the reactive, which you were just talking about, Christine, and then there's the responsive. So I like to call the reactive brain ow, the ow brain. You're stepping on something that is compromising to me. So it feels pessimistic or cynical, or there's a sense of bitterness and resentment that comes up. So all of those negative feelings, you just go, ooh, ow. You just hurt me. So what you want to do is reframe that, and you want to turn that into a wow brain. Okay, how do I use this as an opportunity? How do I turn this into a positive? Because there's always the what if something goes wrong, and then there's the what if it goes well.
So give us an example.
So in my own life, I'll take you back because a few years ago I encountered a very major crisis, and I felt rejection, which is like you were talking about, Kate. I mean, this is based in fear, right? Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of not measuring up, fear of rejection.
Fear of not being liked.
Yes, exactly. So I felt this rejection in my life, and it was deep. And I wanted to go back and figure out when did this actually happen and how did it happen, so that I could go back and actually rescue myself out of that and say, hey, you know what? We're okay. We survived. And we made it. And it was when I was 9 in grade 4. We went to Pioneer Village, and we were, pretending to be kids. And in a classroom, wearing our Pioneer clothes, I had to stand up and give my 4 times tables. Froze in the middle of it, felt horrible, just wanted the ground to swallow up. And to show, the class what would have happened back then, I had to sit in the corner with a dunce cap on. So shame inducer, immediately I felt rejection, shame, embarrassment. And so I realized, oh my goodness, that's where it started.
Right.
And then I built up protection factors against it. So, when I'm coaching clients and doing workshops, I have a 5-stone approach. So kind of like David with, the stones, you want to hit your Goliath. So my approaches are using the mind so that you can do reframing. Then there's body, right? Body language is so important, the way that you stand. And even if you just tell yourself, hey, I got this, by putting your hands on your hips, standing up tall, and actually telling yourself that and feeling it within you. Then there's also the spirit, because we are mind, body, spirit. Just gratitude journal. 3 things that you love about yourself every day. And if you don't know what they are, ask your best friend or your mom or somebody who truly loves you. They will tell you, oh, you're this, you're amazing at that, you're so creative, you're funny, you're beautiful, you light up the room, and then believe them, like truly do that. And then the most powerful tool that I have is called finding your inner leader. So we're talking about this inner critic or saboteur or gremlin. And what we want to do is go in and find our inner leader. And so I take people on a meditation. And basically your inner leader is where you find all courage, clarity, truth, and compassion.
So how do people connect with you?
You can go to my website, beaconcoaching.ca. I'm currently running 3 workshops in the Stouffville area, and one of them is Crush Your Inner Critic. So this is really a 45-minute to an hour session that I work people through. And honestly, they leave with tools and tips and exercises that they can transform how they're thinking, because really it comes down to that, and then believing that they are worthy.
And the website is?
beaconcoaching.ca.
beaconcoaching.ca. And you also will do some things with people on the phone. There are various ways of working with people.
Yes, I can work one-on-one. So we can work by phone. We can work by video conferencing. Again, all of that's on my website.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been awesome.
You are listening to What She Said on 105.9 The Region. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
What she said, she's magical, mystical, or a powerful wonder girl.